She was young, vibrant, and full of life. A 19-year-old university student with big dreams, a bright future, and a heartwarming smile. But on August 24, 2019, an ordinary trip to the post office turned into a nightmare. This is the story of Uyinene, a young woman whose tragic death would spark national outrage and ignite a movement against gender-based violence in South Africa. Uyinene, affectionately known as Nini by those close to her, was born on April 20, 2000. She grew up in East London, South Africa, and was known for her intelligence, kindness, and confidence. She had a deep passion for media and storytelling, which led her to enroll at the University of Cape Town, UCT, where she studied film and media. Friends described her as bubbly, adventurous, and always willing to speak her mind. She loved music, fashion, and reading, and she had a particular interest in women's rights. Despite being young, Uyinene was aware of the dangers women faced in South Africa, a country struggling with high rates of gender-based violence, GBV. She often spoke out about women's safety, and even engaged in discussions on how to make the world a safer place for women, never knowing that she herself would become a tragic symbol of this fight. It was a Saturday afternoon, and Uyinene had received a notification that a package was ready for collection at the Clariench post office in Claremont, a quiet suburb of Cape Town. At 2:05 p.m., she arrived at the post office, expecting to pick up her package and head home. But inside the post office was 42-year-old Luyanda Botha, an employee with a disturbing past. Botha was a convicted criminal, but due to failures in background checks, he had been employed at the post office despite his record. When Uyinene inquired about her parcel, Botha told her that the electricity was out and that she should come back later when the system was back online. She left, unaware that she had just walked into a carefully planned trap. At around 4:10 p.m., Uyinene returned to the post office, expecting a routine pickup. This time, Botha locked the doors behind her. When she realized she was trapped, fear set in. But before she could react, Botha grabbed her. She fought back, screaming for help, but there was no one around to hear her cries. Angered by her resistance, Botha beat her with a weighing scale, a heavy metal object used in post offices to weigh packages. He struck her repeatedly, silencing her screams and leaving her severely injured. Then, in a brutal act of violence, he sexually assaulted her before finally delivering the fatal blow. Uyinene's life was taken in a place that should have been safe, a government-run post office. After killing her, Botha left her body inside the post office overnight, knowing he had to cover up his crime. The next morning, Botha returned to the post office as if nothing had happened. He cleaned up the crime scene, then wrapped Uyinene's body in a mailbag. He put her in his car and drove to a remote area in Khayelitsha, a township outside Cape Town. There, he set her remains on fire, attempting to destroy any evidence that could link him to the crime. Thinking he had covered his tracks, Botha returned home, assuming that no one would suspect him. But he was wrong. That evening, when Uyinene didn't return home, her friends and family grew concerned. Calls to her phone went unanswered. Messages remained unread. Her disappearance quickly gained national attention. Social media exploded with the hashtag #FindUyinene as thousands of people shared her photo, hoping for information on her whereabouts. The police began an investigation, retracing her last known steps. It wasn't long before they discovered CCTV footage from the post office footage that showed Uyinene entering but never leaving. All signs pointed to one man, Luyanda Botha. On August 30, 2019, just 6 days after Uyinene's disappearance, police arrested Botha. Under interrogation, he confessed to the crime, revealing chilling details about how he had lured, assaulted, and murdered her. His arrest sent shockwaves through the country. How had a convicted criminal been allowed to work in a public institution? South Africans demanded answers. On November 15, 2019, Luyanda Botha was sentenced to 3 life sentences for rape, murder, obstruction of justice. The sentence brought some relief to Uyinene's loved ones, but the pain of losing her could never be erased. Her murder became a national wake-up call. Thousands of people took to the streets, demanding justice for women who had suffered violence, assault, and murder. What are your thoughts on this? Leave your comments below.